Good Sunday morning. We begin with our brand new NBC News poll and the headline. With just over 3 weeks until Election Day, former President Trump and Vice President Harris are now tied among registered voters, 48 to 48%. The 5-point lead Harris held after the presidential debate a month ago is now gone. Steve Kornacki will take us inside the numbers, including the enormous gender gap, just moments from now. Donald Trump's approval rating, now 48%, is higher than his job rating was at any point during his presidency. By 43 to 41%, more voters are concerned that Harris will continue President Biden's approach than are concerned that former President Trump will continue his first-term approach. On the trail, Vice President Harris has struggled to answer how she would be different than her current boss.
What do you think would be the biggest specific difference between your presidency and a Biden presidency?
Well, we're obviously two different people, and we have a lot of shared life experiences. For example, the way we feel about our family and our parents and so on. But we're also different people, and I will bring those sensibilities to how I lead.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Now, NBC News has learned that the vice president's team has been discussing ways she could put more distance between herself and President Biden in the final weeks of the race. Harris is leaning into one key difference, her age, 59. On Saturday, she released a letter from her White House doctor, quote, Vice President Harris remains in excellent health. She possesses the physical and mental resiliency required to successfully execute the duties of the presidency.
So today I released my medical records, as has, I believe, every candidate for president of the United States except Donald Trump in this election cycle. And it's just a further example of his lack of transparency.
Former President Trump's campaign recirculated a letter from his former White House physician, now Republican Congressman Ronnie Jackson, as well as a letter from a personal physician from last fall. But the 78-year-old former president has not released his medical records, though he pledged in August to do so. Meanwhile, former Presidents Bill Clinton and Barack Obama are hitting the trail for Harris. Former President Obama urgently telling black men they cannot sit out this election with a woman at the top of the ticket.
You're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man is, putting women down? That's not acceptable.
At a rally in Coachella, California last night, part of a tour aimed at showing Mr. Trump can draw a crowd in blue states, the former president ramped up his dark rhetoric and false claims.
She's imported an army of illegal alien gang members and migrant criminals from the dungeons of the third world. They come from the dungeons of the third world. Anyone who orchestrated an invasion of America cannot lead America. Kamala Harris, her reign of terror ends the day I take office. She's finished.
Illegal crossings at the border are at their lowest levels in nearly 4 years after the Biden administration's new restrictions on asylum.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.